Good evening. Welcome to the November 12th Clifton Park Town Board meeting. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, Pat, if you call the roll.
Councilman Whalen. Here. Councilman Stendhal. Here. Councilman Romano.
Here.
Councilman Homewood. Here. Supervisor Barrett.
Here. Communications and announcements. Not So Common Players are in the midst of a series of shows. Their latest production is You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. They started on November 8th. The remaining shows will be the 14th through the 17th. Now, the Thursday shows begin at 7:30. The Friday and Saturday shows start at 8, and Sunday shows start at 2. So again, the 14th through the 17th, you still have, if you missed the first performances, you still have time to check out Your Good Man, Charlie Brown. It takes place at the library. So it's a very nice, compact facility for the play, but you're right up close in the action, right, Pat?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like being in first row at Radio City. That's what it's like. Anybody been to Radio City Music Hall? No? All right, then you don't know what it's like to be at Radio City. Take my word for it. It's like being in the front row. All right, any other communications and announcements? Okay. I just want to take this opportunity, we're meeting on a Tuesday night because yesterday was Veterans Day, and I just want to take a quick moment to thank all of our veterans that have served the country, that are serving the country, not only stateside but around the world. The sacrifice that these brave men and women have given for their country and their families. Their families also sacrificed to make sure that we remain safe, that we were able to not only be a free country, but maintain a free country, protect all of the freedoms in the Bill of Rights and the Constitution that apply to all of you. And that is a great gift that we can never repay. So we do want to thank all the veterans. Earlier today, Shen High School had a very nice veterans ceremony at the high school. The YMCA had an equally meaningful ceremony on Saturday, and there were many other Veterans Day activities and events and ceremonies throughout the weekend, and it's incredibly humbling to attend those. So again, thank you to all our veterans. All right, so we have several resolutions for consideration tonight. We have some basic housekeeping measures, somewhat repetitive too, but Pat loves to read, so it's okay that it's a little repetitive. So go ahead, if you will.
A resolution adopting the Saratoga County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan, whereas Saratoga County, with the assistance of consultants retained by the county, has gathered information and prepared the Saratoga County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan, and whereas the Saratoga County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan has been prepared in accordance with the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000, and whereas the Town of Clifton Park is a local unit of government that has afforded the citizens an opportunity to comment and provide input on the plan and the actions in the plan, and whereas the Town of Clifton Park has reviewed the plan and affirms that the plan will be updated no less than every 5 years, and therefore be resolved that the Clifton Park Town Board hereby adopts the Saratoga County Multi-Jurisdictional Hazard Mitigation Plan as a jurisdiction's natural hazard mitigation plan, and resolves to execute the actions in the plan. A resolution authorizing the transfer of up to $5,000 from the assigned sewer district funds to Old Knott Farm Sewer District account for driveway and generator repairs at the Old Knott Farm Sewer Pump House. Whereas the town board wishes to transfer funds to cover the cost of repairs to the Old Knott Farm Sewer District Pump House and driveway, and whereas the collection systems manager Michael O'Brien requests that $5,000 be transferred from the assigned funds to the Old Knott Farm Sewer District account to cover unexpected repairs at the Old Knott Farm generator and for repaving of the driveway at the pump house. Now therefore be resolved that that authorization is hereby granted to the controller to transfer an amount not to exceed $5,000 from assigned fund balance to the general maintenance to offset additional costs for the repairs at the Old Knott Farm Sewer Pump House. A resolution authorizing change order number 1 of the contract with Harold Construction Company for repairs of the Blue Spruce sanitary sewer lines. Whereas by resolution number 152 of 2019, the town board awarded the contract for repairs to Blue Spruce sanitary sewer lines to Harold Construction, Kingston, New York, in the amount of $335,950. And whereas Harold Construction has performed repairs of the sewer lines on Blue Spruce Lane and submitted the certificate of substantial completion and a request for final payment, bringing the cost of the total project to $261,502. And whereas the town's consulting engineer, MJ Engineering and Land Surveying PC, recommends approval of the change order, which represents a contract price decrease of $94,448 below the original contract price. Now therefore be resolved that the town board authorizes change order number 1 and the certificate of substantial completion for the Blue Spruce Lane sanitary sewer rehabilitation project. Will be further resolved that the controller is authorized to release $94,448 from the contract. A resolution authorizing the assessor to re-levy delinquent sewer charges on the 2020 property tax bills. Whereas Michael O'Brien, facilities manager of the Old Knott Farm Sewer District number 1, has reported unpaid sewer bills per the attached schedule for users of the Old Knott Farm Sewer District. And whereas it is necessary for the assessor to re-levy the 2019 unpaid Old Knott Farm Sewer user charges to ensure payment of the same. Now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts the reported delinquent sewer charges for the Old Knott Farm Sewer District per the attached schedule and authorizes the assessor to re-levy that amount on the property owner's 2020 town and county tax bills, and be further resolved that all proceeds be returned in February to the Old Knott Farm Sewer District. A resolution authorizing the assessor to re-levy delinquent sewer charges on the 2020 property tax bills. Whereas Michael O'Brien, facilities manager of the Rivercrest Sewer District number 1, has reported unpaid sewer bills per the attached schedule for users of the Rivercrest Sewer District extension number 1. And whereas it is necessary for the assessor to re-levy the unpaid 2019 Rivercrest Sewer District extension number 1 user charges to ensure payment of the same. Now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts the reported delinquent sewer changes for the Rivercrest Sewer District extension number 1 per the attached schedule and authorizes the assessor to re-levy that amount on the property owner's 2020 town and county tax bills. Be it further resolved that all proceeds be returned in February to the Rivercrest Sewer District extension number 1.
Excuse me just a minute.
Yes.
Are these 2018?
They're 2018.
They're all 2018.
In 2018?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm very sorry. I'll correct that. A resolution authorizing the assessor to re-levy delinquent sewer charges on the 2020 property tax bills. Whereas the Saratoga County Sewer District number 1 has reported unpaid sewer bills per the attached schedule for the Saratoga County Sewer District number 1. And whereas it is necessary for the assessor to re-levy the unpaid Saratoga County Sewer District number 1 charges to ensure payment of the same, now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts the reported delinquent sewer charges for the Saratoga County Sewer District number 1 per the attached schedule and authorizes the assessor to re-levy that amount on the property owner's 2020 town and county tax bills, and be further resolved that all proceeds be returned in February to the Saratoga County Sewer District number 1. Resolution authorizing the assessor to re-levy delinquent water charges on the 2020 property tax bills. Whereas the town of Ballston Water Department has reported unpaid town of Ballston water bills for the town of Clifton Park users per the attached. And whereas it is necessary for the assessor to re-levy the unpaid town of Ballston water bills to ensure payment of the same, Now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts the report of delinquent water charges for the town of Boston Water Department per the attached and authorizes the assessor to levy that amount on the property owner's 2020 town and county tax bills, and be further resolved that all proceeds be returned in February to the town of Boston. Resolution authorizing the assessor to re-levy delinquent water charges on the 2020 property tax bills. Whereas the Clifton Park Water Authority has reported unpaid Clifton Park Water Authority water bills for the town of Clifton Park users per the attached, and whereas it is necessary for the assessor to levy the unpaid Clifton Park Water Authority bills to ensure payment of the same, now therefore be resolved that the town board accepts the reported delinquent water charges for the Clifton Park Water Authority per the attached and authorizes the assessor to levy that amount on the property owner's 2020 town and county tax bills, and be it further resolved that all proceeds be returned in February to the Clifton Park Water.
Very good. Any questions on the resolutions? Happy to read the heading, and we'll consider each resolution individually.
Resolution number 252 of 2019, a resolution adopting the Saratoga County multi-jurisdictional hazard mitigation plan.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. This is an opportunity for the communities within Saratoga County to pool their resources and share services with this plan. So our adopting the plan shows that we approve of it as a town, and certainly appreciate the effort that has been undertaken by Saratoga County as a member of the County Public Safety Committee. I was very pleased to see this initiative move forward and come to fruition. Any discussion? Okay.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood?
Yes.
Five Zero.
Yes.
Resolution number 253 of 2019, a resolution authorizing the transfer of up to $5,000 from the assigned sewer funds to Old Knott Farm Sewer District account for driveway and generator repairs at the Old Knott Farm Sewer Complex.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Wallowitz, second by Mr. Whalen. Michael?
Yes, we had a series of events occur, obviously in the later part of the year. We had a generator lose a flywheel, which we've never had any problems with any of the generators we purchased, but this is our first major problem, and it was about a $4,000-something repair. So the generator wouldn't start, and it took the tech all day. And I hadn't budgeted for that, and we had a driveway issue with the water table there that had sunk, and I wanted to get that fixed before the end of the season, so we acquired some prices, and the two of them pushed us over our budget for the year, and the comptroller indicated that we should do fund balance transfer to cover this cost, so that's what I'm doing. We usually run pretty good on the budget this year, this a little bit.
Any questions from Mike?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood?
Yes.
Five Zero.
Yes.
Resolution number 254 of 2019, a resolution authorizing change order number 1 of the contract with Arrow Construction Company for repairs of Blue Spruce sanitary sewer lines.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Romano, second by Ms. Wallowitz. Michael?
That's excellent change order. We lined 3,500 feet of pipe, give or take. I think there was 400 feet we did on our own on a Sunday as part of an emergency. But this price, the contract also included going up each person's lateral along that entire segment to the property, to the curb, to verify that the integrity of the lateral. As you know, the maintenance and operation of that is the responsibility of the homeowner, but we didn't see prepping for a paving job for the highway superintendent without making sure those pipes were in good order. So this price reflects that being done with several spot repairs being made for no problems that we found. So we still came in, $94,000 under. It was really a great project. It's a little hard to, as a manager, to see it all happening because it was guys would show up and do stuff, they'd be gone, and they'd show up again and do it. But the amount of impact is so much lower than digging. So the lining, I'd say, was a success, and they came in almost $100,000 under, which was great. So pretty happy.
Yeah, this was the Blue Spruce project where we lined the the length of pipe, sewer pipe, sanitary sewer pipe along the road. And Mike, why don't you describe the process of lining? You know,
Sure.
when we say lining, we're basically making a new pipe out of the old pipe, right?
That's right. They essentially take a fabric laden material. It's got a resin in it, and it's designed at a factory to the spec of the pipe that's in the ground, and they actually push it through with high pressure air, and it actually unfolds like you're unfolding a sock. You start it, and it comes out of a truck, and they drive it all the way through a section of pipe, so 300 or 400 feet, it pops out, and then they inject steam in it, and they have to let it cook for a certain amount of time. So the pipe will sit there inflated, if you will. The resin sets, then they can cut it. It's really neat. It's hard. It's like a cast on your arm. And when it's done, it's actually a pipe within a pipe. That's how they like to describe it, because it is fluid. So whatever happens to the pipe outside, this pipe can withstand it. It's its own thing. It's not like it's glued to the outer pipe or anything like that. It's really slick to see. It's the first time I've ever seen it done up close. And we're small potatoes. I mean, they can do this stuff up to like 60, 70-inch pipe. It's really incredible.
Wow.
So, and there's different technologies. I think the highway department just did some lining, and they did ultraviolet light. So instead of the steam, they use a light to cure it as they go through. So it's pretty slick. It's the cutting edge stuff.
Yeah, it is, and it's an alternative to what you've seen if you've lived in any of the neighborhoods that we've excavated in replacing pipe in the past, where you see all along the front of people's yards, you'll see big trench, and then the old pipe comes out, the new pipe goes in, and the road's closed quite frequently. Obviously, sewer, the service is shut off from time to time during that excavation process. So there's a tremendous amount of work that needs to occur to ensure that the property that we've disturbed or damaged is put back to the way it was. So when we're going down and digging up all this pipe and digging up people's yards and things of that nature, it's our responsibility to make sure it looks the same as before we got there. With this system, by being able to line the pipe, we're not digging anything. So there is no disruption to your yard, there's no removal of trees in some instances, or fences, or things of that nature. So it's just much less intrusive to the homeowners. Now, it still takes time to complete the project, and it's not, we don't completely eliminate the inconvenience. I'm not saying that, but it's the amount of inconvenience is certainly diminished, as well as the time needed to finish the project. So overall, it is a much better alternative to strictly excavation. So this was our first instance of using it with a sanitary sewer project, and I think overall it went very well. There was one section of pipe we needed to excavate, but other than that, the rest of it was all laying. So I know the folks at Blue Spruce were happy when it was done. The road was paved, and it shouldn't have to be back for some time. Also, as Mike had mentioned, we took extra care to make sure that the residents along that area, if there were an issue with the lateral as it connects to the main pipe, that we did act to rectify any of those issues as well. Okay. Very good. No, I followed that very closely, as I do all the infrastructure projects, and went very well. Any questions for Mike? Okay, on time, under budget. Take that.
Council Whalen?
Yes.
Council Standard?
Yes.
Council Romano?
Yes.
Council Malalet?
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Resolution number 255 of 2019. A resolution authorizing the assessor to relevy delinquent sewer charges on the 2020 property tax bills.
So moved.
By Mr. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. We have a few of these resolutions So any comments, Walt, on any of these resolutions that we have on the agenda?
They're pretty standard, there's 5 of them. 3 sewer entities where we levy unpaid sewer bills, and then there's 2 water entities where we levy unpaid water bills. Something we do every year that we put on the January property tax bill. So it's unfortunately, but it's a pretty standard operation for us to catch up with anybody that doesn't pay their regular bills. We put them on their town and county bill.
Okay, very good. Discussion, questions? Okay, Pat?
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood?
Yes.
Councilman Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 256 of 2019. A resolution authorizing the assessor to levy delinquent sewer charges on the 2020 property tax bills.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. Discussion.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Resolution number 257 of 2019, a resolution authorizing the assessor to levy delinquent sewer charges on the 2020 property tax bills.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Wallowitz, second by Mr. Whalen. Okay.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood? Mayor Barrett?
Yes.
Resolution number 258 of 2019, a resolution authorizing the assessor to levy delinquent water charges on the 2020 property tax bills.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Standard, second by Mr. Whalen. Discussion.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
And resolution number 259 of 2019, a resolution authorizing the assessor to levy delinquent water charges on the 2020 property tax bills.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Romano, second by Ms. Wallowitz. Discussion.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard?
Yes.
Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood? Vice Mayor?
Yes. Any other business to come before the board this evening? Seeing none, we'll go to public privilege. If you'd like to speak on a town matter, please raise your hand. We'll ask that you come forward. State your name and address for the record, and please keep it to 5 minutes or less. Anybody who'd like to speak this evening? Okay. Well, if you're a Shen student and wanted to be here, but you wanted to be here, but you were hoping for a brief meeting, well, you got your wish. And I hate to disappoint you in that fashion, but you got your wish.
Maybe you should talk about a victory so the rest of
Well, yeah, big sports weekend coming up. We got football on Friday, going into the States. We've got the soccer team in the Final Four with Brandon Barrett kid on the team there. They're playing Saturday, and volleyball is playing, I don't know what it is, Saturday, I think.
And cross country on Saturday too.
And cross country is Saturday, and they're favored to win. So a lot of big weekend for Shen sports.
motion to adjourn.
Second.
Councilman Whalen?
Yes.
Councilman Standard? Yes. Councilman Romano?
Yes.
Councilman Ballwood?
Yes.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, thank you.